This is what someone named G wrote on Twitter. He says, "Today is probably a good day to talk about my little experience with radical Islamists at University of Ibadan. I grew up in a very interesting household. My father is a Muslim and my mother is a Christian. Both of them take their religion quite seriously, but it was a lot more than that. My mom will fast during Ramadan, and my dad will come with us to church for Thanksgiving service. My dad was friends with my mom's pastor and even represented the church in court once over a land dispute. So even though I became politically active very early in life, I was never exposed to Islamic fundamentalism. It was never a thing I felt conscious about until my 2017-18 experience at University of Ibadan, a place I consider the intellectual capital of Nigeria, if not Africa. In my 300 level, I had two roommates, both Muslims. One of them was the head imam of Teda Hall. Our relationship started decently, like with any roommate. We were never friends, but we had mutual respect, especially since we were both considered influential figures in the hall and the university at large. Then he started with subtle, derisive comments about me not being a practicing Muslim, since I have a Muslim last name. His comments didn't really bother me as I was already used to that style of evangelism. I would laugh it off. Sometimes we would even argue a little. Then, after a while, he became passive aggressive, silly minor attacks just to piss me off. One time, I came home to find all my debate trophies in a box. I like to display them in my corner of the room just to intimidate Bello fans and law students. Laugh out loud. His excuse was that displaying trophies was haram, that they are idols. Then he openly said things like I was wasting my life and talent, that I ought to be an ambassador for Islam. One time he said he will get me one way or another. I used to listen to some of his conversations with his friends. They would express disgust for women choosing to study instead of getting married. They said a lot of weird, fundamentalist stuff that frankly scared me. I could be a bit of a hothead, so when I had enough, I gave him a piece of my mind plus a stern warning. So he stopped. I later found out that he especially lobbied the warden to have me as his roommate. Strange. But that experience really worried me. This was someone who had spent close to 5 years in one of the country's most liberal environments. And this was the kind of thing he occupied himself with. So imagine how bad it would be with those who have fewer exposure but more power. Sharia Court in the Southwest is a gateway to Sharia law, and then Islamic governance. And then we will be on our way to becoming another Saudi Arabia at best, or more likely, Afghanistan. Let's not open that door. That is the tweets. I read them together, and there were several comments. So we're going to have that debate. Stand by.